And so this is actually the perfect time for me to bring up what Pope Leo said this week, because he had it was called the Jubilee of Families on Sunday. And so he had a bunch of families there, grandparents, parents, kids, and he spoke a little bit about this aspect of the human relationships that we have and having strong families in true unity with one another. And so I'm going to read a small part of what he said here, and then we could talk about it afterward. He says, "Ours is a time marked by a growing search for spirituality, particularly evident in young people who are longing for authentic relationships and guides in life. Hence, it is important that the Christian community be far-sighted in discerning the challenges of today's world and in nurturing the desire for faith present in the heart of every man and every woman. This effort requires that special attention be paid to those families who, for various reasons, are spiritually most distant from us. Those who do not feel involved, claim they are uninterested, or feel excluded from the usual activities, yet would still like to be part of a community in which they can grow and journey together with others. How many people today simply do not hear the invitation to encounter God?" Then he talks about how there's this privatization of faith. So he says that afterwards.
Keeping it to yourself.
Yeah, keeping it to yourself. And so he's talking about this in the context of the family. Ultimately, that the church is a family, and the leaders of the church, he says, beginning with the bishops and the priests and down to the lay people, they have to be fishers of families, fishers of men, to go out and get these people and bring them in to this relationship and this real encounter.
And I
with
think
Jesus.
there's also a nuance to that point, because planting seeds of faith, going out and making sure that you are doing your duty as a Christian to promote the faith, promote the mass, promote the unity of the church. The nuance is, but that doesn't mean you either shove it down their throats, the faith, or you continue to badger people that have a very hardened heart. Because that, like Jesus says, don't throw your pearl before swine.
Yeah, think about it in terms of what it is and what he's talking about, which is a family.
Yeah.
Think about, like, you're talking about people that are going to be with you every day of your life.
Yeah.
And there's going to be ups and downs in life, but you have to be there for them, and you have to love them, and you have to sacrifice for them. That's ultimately what Jesus does with us, and he gives us the church as our family. And I feel like a lot of people don't really see the church as family. Maybe it's because of bad experiences that they've had with the church.
Yeah.
Because there's the bad human aspect there, but that's what Pope Leo is telling us, to encourage other people to know of that familial aspect, and that they can be welcomed into it.
Amazing. One thing that came to my mind is the zeal that the saints have for, oftentimes, not all of them, of course, but like the separated brethren, like the patron saint of shopping, St. Francis of Sales. I'm just kidding, sorry. But St. Francis de
That
Sales.
was bad, bro. That was bad.
We're going to cut that one out.
No, don't cut it out, because you deserve it. Because all of, like I'm going to give you...
Cut me out of the show, dude.
1 out of 100. 1 out of 100 you get, right? Is that accurate?
No.
1 every
It's
100?
very bad. A little more.
You think it's more?
Yeah.
You think it's like 1 every 150 or
150.
So you guys know who my critic is. He's been trolling me the whole time. Rewind and watch his facial
We're
expressions.
talking about truth. What are you talking about?
Wow.
patron saint of shopping?
Okay, so
anyway, St. Francis of Sales, of de Sales in French, this guy actually went door to door, and in the snow, like his feet were cracking from how cold it was and they were bleeding. But he went and he would actually try to bring back people who separated themselves from the Catholic Church kind of recently. So it was like maybe like one generation, it wasn't too far, and that whole town had become, let's say, Protestant. And he went and he actually converted that whole town, but it was through zeal and through sacrifice and through love that he brought them back. And so that sometimes confounds me to see how much love there is for separated brethren, that we should kind of expand our sphere. Of course, Jesus says, go first to the lost tribe of Israel, okay, and then go out to the whole world and preaching. But we have to definitely take care of our own right, and the problems that are coming in and the different errors that are starting to creep their way in, which I think we have a pretty full plate on that if we really get to work on it. But yeah, the final thing is like saying, there's one time, I wish we were around, me and you, in the 5th century, where the Donatists had a debate with St. Augustine, and he actually won them over because then once again, you have holiness coupled with the love for their conversion, and God just said, okay. And he accepted that.
I once really saw that in action when I was driving down Hamishaw going back to St. Peter's. And you know how there's that 7-Eleven right before that light? If you're coming from the 94, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was passing by a bus stop and I looked right and I said, man, this person really does look like Brother Sinan. And I get closer and I see this guy sitting next to a homeless guy on the curb. Okay, on Hamishaw, okay, just having a great time.
Wow. Nice. God bless your...
I don't know what they talked about, but I didn't bother stopping because this is...
Okay, look, I know him now. He's discerning. He's discerning whether or not he should share the story.
Do you remember that or no?
I'm not saying anything.
It was by the
I'm going to
bus
share a
stop.
funnier story.
Do you remember that or no? You were sitting on the curb on the bus stop with a homeless man.
I guess. No comment. I plead the 5th. But I will tell you guys one thing. In our day and age, it is a little harder to even like rough it on any level. I'm not saying I'm very, very like, how do I say, spoiled?
Yeah, even like
You
to
are
do
very
simple
spoiled.
fasting is
You are very
hard.
spoiled.
Yeah, but I promise, as like a seminarian one time, I remember we were monks at the time, but we were living with the seminarians for a little period of time. There was a situation that happened.
Crazy times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy times. So guys,
Situation.
listen, this should not be that wild of an idea. It's only like I'm not joking, 1.5 miles from where the seminary is to St. Peter's, right?
Mhm.
I decided I'm going to walk today. Very simple. That should be like in Iraq, that's like a normal day. Okay. I'm going to walk it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I tried it, bro. Every car stops. You need a ride? You need a ride? Like 4 accidents
Brother
almost happened.
Sinan.
This guy, one of my friends, okay, he pulled a handbrake. Okay. And car like went around him. I'm like, I'm going to kill people because I walked. Never mind, bro. Never mind. Like I had to take a ride at the end of the day and just go. No, I walked. But at the end of the day is like,
Knowing
I realized
you-
don't ever do that again. People will die just because I chose to walk.
You're
That's-
you're also not the best driver. So people are also at risk when you drive.
Did he ever do this with you where he's praying the rosary and he's meditating in the car while he's driving
And
and then he closes his
Yeah.
eyes?
I experienced
that's
that
the best
first
story.
Has he done that with you?
when we were going to JP Catholic and we decided to pray the rosary on the way up. So we're in the carpool lane and we're on the, I don't know, 2nd decade maybe. And I start to see the car, merge to the left,
Shift.
merge to the left, almost hitting that wall, but he fixes it every time. I'm like, okay, whatever. He's probably distracted. He kept on doing that a few more times. I'm like, what's going on? I look at him. Eyes are closed. Eyes are closed. He's in the driver's seat. Okay. So he's doing this, hand on the wheel, and just,
Trying to get in the mystery, man.
Yeah, I know.
yeah, we were going to see the mystery. Yeah. we were going to enter into it.
Faith, hope, and charity.
Oh, man.
I've had times where like this happens more often where he's driving and he's talking to me. We're just chatting. We're just talking. He turns and looks at me like, "Oh, okay." So I'm like, "Bro, look straight. Look straight. We could talk and look straight too,
Oh, arguments in the car, that would put my life at risk. That's why I would
But we love you very much though.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
we
speak
do.
for yourself, please. No, I'm joking. Come on, man. I was joking.